Hello, good morning. Today I will be sharing with you the next module, which is agricultural commodity system. During our first discussions, it is more about the commodity agriculture, and then here comes another uh, component, which is the system. In order for us to understand how things evolve, why is that there is a need of a system? We can look at a simple analogy. Let's say there are incidents in agriculture where one person supposed to be planted, let's say, 1 hectare of tomato. This really happened. This story really happened some time ago last year when there was a farm in Laguna province where tons of tomatoes were disposed or thrown into the side of the road because the selling price during that time was about 5 pesos and the production cost is higher than that, meaning farmers could not gain profit uh, out of their tomato. So that's a total loss. It was a story that was captured by the news during the time. And what we'll be talking right now is something that is related to that in order to understand what's really into uh, the production, the selling, and the realization of profit in agriculture. Tayong lahat alam natin na ang agriculture is one of the riskiest business in known so far because of the traceability, the the many risks involved in trading, in marketing, and then dagdagan mo pa yan ng mga uncontrollable situations like typhoon. We just recently had a typhoon 2 days ago. Ilan ding puno ng saging na natumba sa akin. And those are sometimes uncontrollable. Hindi natin kayang i-prevent. But there must be something kinakailangan maintindihan ng isang farmer or a group of farmer or a company involved in agriculture. Paano natin sasakyan, dadalhin itong mga ganitong players, itong mga ganitong pangyayari sa larangan ng agrikultura. At dito nga papasok yung tinatawag na pag-intindi natin doon sa tinatawag na agricultural commodity system. Merong sistemang naka-in place like any other business. So, it is agricultural commodity also has a system. So what happened to that story earlier about the tomato? Is there is some break in the system? Ano ba ang potential o posibleng nangyari doon? Possible na napakarami ng supply ng kamatis during that time, nagsabay-sabay sila ng harvest. Because in farming, natural dyan na magbabantay ka ng magandang panahon, merong konting ulan, or kung merong kalendaryo kayo, alam ng mga farmer kung kailan best magtatanim. At yun nga ang isa sa mga nakikita nating contributing factor. Dahil may panahon, ibig sabihin sabay-sabay magtatanim ang mga farmer kung saan ang produce nila ay maaaring maraming-marami and it doesn't always good. Hindi laging maganda. Bakit? Sapagkat minsan yung supply, dahil sa karamihan niya, bumababa ang presyo. At alam naman natin na nabubuhay ang mga farmer o ang may-ari ng negosyong ito doon sa profit. Kung mababa ang kanilang benta at mataas pa naman ang kanilang gastos, doon pwedeng magkaroon ng pagkalugi. So, napaka-importanteng maintindihan natin. Ano ba itong commodity system or agricultural commodity system na dapat maintindihan ng bawat isa. So, this is the point that I'm bringing to you, maintindihan ng bawat isa sa inyo yung agricultural commodity system. So, says here that the link between agriculture and food continually evolves. In primitive societies, the farmer and consumer were either the same family or close neighbors who bartered their products and services. But as societies develop, other linkages are added. So bumalik ang istorya noong mga unang panahon kung saan ang tinatawag na farming noon ay subsistence. Magtatanim ka upang may makain ka. No? Yung kapitbahay mo, yung posible yung anak o asawa mo, katulong mo sa pagtatanim dahil yun din ang kakainin nyo. But as, sabi nga rito, as times goes on, nag-evolve ang food production. No? Marami ng mga nabatagdag doon sa nagtatanim at saka kumakain ng tanim nila. So, commodity traders, isa yan, yung instead kasi na ikaw ang pumunta sa palengke para itinda ang iyong mga produkto, meron ng gumagawa noon. Ang patawag natin doon ay commodity traders. Sila yung bibili ng paninda mo at a lower price, isasakay nila sa truck, dadalhin nila sa palengke at ibebenta either doon sa tinatawag nating mga reseller o retailer at minsan ay dinidirekta nila sa end user. So ang tawag natin dyan ay mga commodity player at isa yan sa mga nakikita natin, commodity traders, isa sa mga nakikita natin players na napadagdag sa simple equation kanina. Then comes the processor. Ano ba ito mga processor? Ito yung produkto mo, let's say kamatis, kung ito nilada yan, dadalhin sa isang planta, gagawing paste or tomato juice. Yan, tawag yung mga processor. In terms naman, let's say sa coconut, yung copra, naman ng yung meat ng matured coconut ay ano yun, ihihiwalay, ididetach doon sa shell, patutuyuin sa araw, pagkatapos isasako, dadalhin naman doon sa tawag din ay smokehouse or tapahan. At matagal yang merong heat from below, no? Malalim na hukay, continuous yung fire doon at unti-unting nai-evaporate yung water, sorry, doon sa copra at matitira na lang yung meat na mapapansin mo ay unti-unti na siyang naglalangis. No? At dyan nga yung proseso ng pagkuha ng langis or coconut oil. Ang susunod na players could be manufacturers who convert produce into food items. So, gulay pero pwede nilang i-process para maging another form of food. Let's say, flour, then yung mga food processor can convert into noodles. Yan. Among those are added between the producer and consumer. So yung nagtanim, yung nag-alaga ng hayop, at saka yung pamilya nakakain, yung in-between doon, no, dumami yung mga players na yun. Marami ng negosyo doon. So the sum total, kung atin i-imagine yung mula ro sa nagtanim mo, nag-alaga ng hayop, hanggang doon sa plato, nakakainin siya, yung lahat ng yon, the sum total of all operations involved in the manufacture and distribution of farm supplies, sabihin yung hindi lang yung nagtanim, yung nag-provide pa ng mga ano ba, mga farm supplies, pwedeng seeds, pwedeng fertilizer, kasama rin sila doon sa buong sistema na yon, no? distribution of farm supplies, production operations in the farm, and the storage. Ibig sabihin, pati yung para wag mabilis ma-deteriorate ang product mo, pwedeng i-store yan sa mga cold places or store or yung mga cold storage natin. Processing and distribution of farm commodities and items made from them. Okay? So pag tinignan natin, merong tatlong sector ang agricultural commodity system. Una ay yung ating sinasabi na input sector or agricultural input sector. Para makaproduce ng something, meron ka munang ilalagay. You cannot produce something out of nothing. So, meron munang inputs. No? Pagkatapos ng inputs, meron noong tinatawag na production sector. So, input, production sector, at yung isa pa, ang tinatawag nating processing sector. Lahat ng yan, ginagawa yan with the aim of satisfying the consumer or user. Suki. Yan. Basta lahat actually, lahat nga ng ginagawa sa agricultural business or agribusiness, there is always one person or a group of person or so many people na laging kinukonsider the moment that you plant, the moment that you supply, the moment na ibinyahe mo yan, there is always one thing being considered, and that is the center of it all, the consumers. Okay? So, kung mapakikita nyo yung ating graph dyan, nasa gitna yung consumer. So, the satisfaction of the consumer is the prime goal of this commodity system or agricultural commodity system. And in between doon sa ating agricultural production sector at saka ng manufacturing and yung processing and manufacturing comes the marketing. So ito pa yung isang function na naidinagdag natin, the marketing, ang pagbebenta, ang manner kung saan itong iyong na-produce na product will be made available doon sa mga direct consumer is called marketing. Marketing could be selling it directly. Marketing could be telling that you have the product. Marketing could be putting the picture for them to see, putting it on Facebook, and you call it advertising, di ba? So, yung marketing, kasama dyan ng sales and advertisement, right? So, marketing is the driving force behind all profitable activities. Without yung marketing, mahirap kang maging sustainable sa iyong negosyo. Maliban na lamang kung ang design ng iyong farm ay tinatawag nating subsistence, kung saan yung kakainin mo, doon mo lang kukuhanin. Wala ka lang, hindi mo na iniisip na ibenta siya sa kapitbahay, sa palengke, or dalhin somewhere else. Doon lang sa subsistence farming, hindi na papag-usapan ang tinatawag nating profit. So, agricultural commodity system encompasses na dadaanan niya lahat all operations involved in the production of farm inputs, the use of these farm inputs in the cultivation of crops or raising of livestock, the various handling and processing of agricultural commodities, and the transfer of these commodities to the end users. Yun, laging kasama. Pati yung pagka-transfer, ang tawag yan, logistics. Paano siya makakarating doon sa end users? Always encompasses doon sa system na sinasabi natin. Spread among these operations are the various support services that provide logistics, coordination, financing, kung kulang ang pera mo, manpower. One of the problem na lagi kong na-encounter kapag kausap ko mga farmer anywhere else is the manpower. Mahirap maghanap ng worker ngayon. I don't know if you have realized na kung konti talaga ang gustong magtrabaho ngayon sa farm. Unlike before, na marami kang makukuhang idle hands or idle person na walang ginagawa, pwedeng magtrabaho sa farm. Pero ngayon, isa sa mga nakikita naming problema, even if you have the land, even if you have the business, but getting the manpower or the right manpower, ang hirap. No? Bakit nangyari yun? If we trace back, decades ago or during the time of my father, ang mga tao noon ay maraming hindi nakapag-aral. Hindi kasi ang education on is not the main goal ng isang household, but rather is to just to have some money to buy their foods. Kaya hindi marami nakapag-aral. Ngayon, noong dumadating na ngayon yung mga panahon kung saan itong mga yumaman na mga tao ay mayroong gustong may project o may farm, madaling maghanap ng worker kasi maraming mga idle persons noon. Yung, ewan doon noon, yung mga tambay, yung mga walang matrabaho o ayaw talaga magtrabaho, madali silang hatakin sa farm. So, sweldohan mo lang araw-araw. But right now, we have encountered some problems na talagang halos walang gustong pumunta sa farm as farm worker. Bakit? Kasi marami nang na pwedeng puntahan ngayon ang mga tao, ang mga kabataan actually, ayaw nilang mainitan, kaya ang daling maghanap ng trabaho ngayon sa mga factory, sa ating mga industrial sector. Air condition pa siguro doon, nakamotor pa pag-uwi kasi 3,000 lang kailangan. Samantala nga naman, sa farm, napakainit, tapos hindi ka makilala ng mga kaklase mo dahil maitim ka na, dahil laging madungis ang suot mo, walang gustong pumunta sa farm. And that becomes the problem right now, the manpower. Other persons who are young and skilled could seek yung tinatawag natin na migration, pwede mag-abroad. Kaya again, iiwanan na naman yung ating manpower to tend the farm. Also, ang mga kasama sa support services are technology. Ito yung mga na-create na o naisip na o mga innovation kung saan mapapaalwan mo ang trabaho sa farm. Ang isa sa mga dyan, example niyan, machineries. Dati kalabaw, but ngayon, siyempre alam niyo na, traktor. Dati mano-mano yung pag-harvest, pero ngayon, meron na nung pagdaan sa palayan mo, in 1 hour, yung 1 hectare, tapos yun, nakasako na siya. So these are technology. Technologies can also be hindi lang machine. It could be makapag-develop ka ng mga bagong superior breed. Let's say ng chicken. During my time, I was young, ang tawag sa broiler ay 45 days. Yung manok na puti, ibili ka ng sisiw, alagaan mo in 45 days, bebenta mo ng mga 1.5 kilos. But because of technology, because of yung tinatawag natin na breeding, yung nalalaman natin kung anong sa DNA, alang karakteristik ang magugustuhan, pwede mong kuhanin yun at makabuo ka ng isang superior breed kung saan kung ang purpose mo ay meat production, mabilis siyang lumaki. Yung dating 45, naging 35, naging 30. Ngayon, 28 days na lang. Those are technology. Kaya nga, ang kinakain nyo kalimitan ay hindi manok, sisiw. Informations kasama sa mga support services. One of the best information that you can get is being able to know the prevailing price of the product anywhere else. Information also, malaman mo kung sino nangangailangan. Di mo kailangan lumayo, di mo kailangan i-google lahat. You go to Facebook, post a picture of your product, at maya-maya, nagdatingin na yung HM, how much, location mo, sir, merong pupunta at nangangailangan. Because, sabi nga natin, even garbage, can be solved because there is a saying that one man's garbage is another man's gold. Ano yon? Yung mga ukay-ukay, tinapon na nga yun eh, basura nga yun. Pero inipon ng isang negosyante, ilagay sa container, pinadala sa Pilipinas, pagdating imported, mura lang, agaw-agawan. Pero actually those are garbage. But it turned out that it is one man's gold. Ako, mahilig din ako sa ukay-ukay, yung mga tools, mga ginagamit sa carpentry. Kasi magagandang klase yung materials na ginamit doon. Technology, information. So sa information, no need to elaborate. Alam nyo na yan dahil kayo mas bata ngayon. Policies and programs. This could be laid down by the government, ng ating mga lawmakers. What else? Incentives and other services. Ano ba yung mga incentives? Yung minsan, there was a time na kung magtatayo ka ng business at yan ay agri-related, first 3 years, wala kang babayarang tax. Those are mga incentives. Maraming binibigay ng gobyerno para matulungan ikaw ay magsimula. No? Kung ikaw naman ay nasa mga tinatawag na industrial estates, no? At foreigner ka, pwedeng wala ring tax. Tax shield ang tawag doon. Kasi, sabi ng gobyerno, yung kasing kukuhanin mong trabahador, mga Pilipino, makakabawi rin kami roon dahil yung pinasweldo mo, kukuhanin naman namin ng tax yun. Those are called incentives that lead to the achievement of a successful agricultural business enterprise. So, dami na ngayon, sari-sari ng kinakailangan nating maintindihan. Kaya yung picture doon, distribution channel of palay, napakasimpleng palay, tanim lang, haharvestin. Pero when you look at the channel of distribution, ang dami na niya. No? It's not that simple of buying the rice anymore. Dami ng napadagdag na boxes dyan or channels kung saan simple palay goes a long, long way bago makarating doon sa ating table. So, ang babalikan uli natin doon sa ating kaninang, if we go back here sa ating sector, there are 3 sectors dito sa graph natin ito. At atin munang pag-usapang isa-isa ito. The agricultural input sector. Okay. Input. The word there is input. Siya yung ilalagay mo sa farm o sa negosyo mo. In order to maximize yield, it's necessary for farmers to aid their harvest with agricultural inputs, especially smallholder farmers. There was a time, again, I was young, bata pa ako, that when you plant something, yan, very vivid pa, naalaala ko pa. Nagtatanim nanay ko ng mga pipino, kalabasa, napakadaling, ang gaganda ng mga bunga niya. At you could almost, pwede ka nang hindi pumunta sa palengke dahil nga yung mga kailangan mong gulay nandun lang sa likod ng bahay. And they grow so well. Napakaganda ng mga tanim noon. Kukunti rin ng mga insekto. Bakit ngayon, noong naging modernized ang farming, parang bakit humirap yata ang kapatubo ng halaman? You need this kind of fertilizer at the beginning. You need this kind of fertilizer kapag growing na siya. You need this kind of fertilizer kapag siya namumulaklak. At you need this kind of fertilizer kapag may fruit na para hindi malaglag yung bunga at meron pang fertilizer para tumamis ang bunga mo. Naging complicated ngayon ang pagtatanim. At hindi na natin maibalik yung dating system of agriculture. Isang factor dyan could be the depletion of the land, the soil, dahil sa continuous na-extract yung mga elements doon na supposed to be helping the plants, hindi naman siya naibalik. And there was belief na even the inputs that we put in there in the form of chemicals have actually help in the degradation. Parang humina ang lupa. Napasobra na ng paglalagay ng mga fertilizer. At yun can be explained by science. When you put so much urea, nitrogen, sometimes naging acidic ang lupa. And kapag naging acidic ang lupa, the result is that other important minerals doon ay hindi makuha ng halaman because napipik siya when the soil turns acidic. So, kung titingnan natin, yung input sector na iyon, kung babalikan natin, way back, have probably contributed not always in a good side, but the bad side as well. So, ngayon, in order to maximize yung profit o yung yield mo sa farm, kinakailangan maglagay ka talaga ng input. Pag hindi ka naglagay, chances are, wala kang ha-harvestin. So, at marami yan. At mamaya pag-uusapan natin kung ano yung mga inputs na yan. Agricultural inputs are any external source galing sa labas, put into soil that can help a farmer's upcoming yield. They can be anything from high-quality seeds. Dati, yung buto, ilalagay lang namin doon sa taas ng kalan. Kasi naiinitan yun, hindi pupuntahan ng mga insekto. Pagdating ng Mayo, kuhanin mo yung buton, yung sitaw, itatanim mo yung buto. Pero ngayon, you have to buy from, sabi pa, reputable seed company. No? Pagka ang seeds mo raw, hindi maganda, kukunti yung bunga, maiiksi or hindi superior. No? So, yan yung mga inputs, seeds to high-tech tractors. O, balik tayo sa seeds. May kaibigan ako yung si Ka-Edi Silan who is very good in production of palaya. And when I visited him and talked to him, he told me, meron siyang sinubukan na technology sa pagtatanim ng ampalaya. Kasi before, marami siyang mga nagiging problem sa ampalaya, madaling masira, madaling mamatay ang puno. And then, one company, seed company, have introduced yung grafted ampalaya. Or grafted, grafted ampalaya. Pinagduktong yung ampalaya at saka patola. Buto ng patola itinanim, tapos noong siguro mga half of the pencil size, yung kanyang diameter, ginagrap nila. I don't know how they have done it, but nagkakaroon ng union yung dalawa na yon. Ano bang importance? Bakit ba hindi pwedeng ampalaya na lang? Bakit kailangan pa yung patola na siya ang nasa ilalim? Because they found out na ang patola is more, mas matibay siyang tanim. And patola lasts long. Kaya, nung siguro, nakita nila na medyo magkapamilya itong dalawang ito, when they tried putting it in union or igagrap, nabubuhay. At noong nagsimula na siyang mabuhay, sabi sa akin ni Ka-Edi Silan, yung natural lang na ampalaya na tinanim ng buto, patay na. Pero yung tanim niyang ampalaya in union with the patola sa ilalim ay buhay pa at matagal pa rin siyang namumunga. So, these are part noong mga high-tech seeds or mga planting materials na ngayon ay available. These are part of the inputs. Simply put, there any resource you use to increase your crops success or your animal production business. Hindi lang crops, animals, or other plantation crops. Ano man yung ilagay mo roon para ang iyong purpose ay to help them grow and magkaroon ng better yield. It's included in the input sector. Now, there are categorized natin ang input for simplification. The types of agricultural inputs are endless. But there are two categories that we separate all agricultural inputs. So, into dalawa. Una, consumable inputs. Ano ba yung mga consumable inputs? Inputs are your everyday commonly used agricultural inputs for smallholder farmers such as seeds, fertilizers, insecticides, etc. These are consumable inputs consumable inputs are usually natural materials that will be consumed by the crop. Ibig sabihin, mauubos, mawawala. Pag inilagay mo roon, wala na siya. Fertilizer, tunaw na siya. Seeds, mabubuhay siya, maging halaman, wala na siya. So, yun yung nakukonsume, nauubos. And the other one is the capital inputs, no? So ito hindi mo actually tatapon sa lupa, but these are mga equipment, probably machineries. On the other hand, are materials such as tractors, traktora, trellising materials, mga ngayon social na, yung balag dati kawayan na, ngayon bibili ka pa ng mga special na rope, tapos pag mayaman-yaman ka, ang poste niya hindi kahoy, ang ginagamit na poste are concrete. Diba? Yung nakakita na kayo sa dragon fruit farming. Ano yun? Yung semento. And these are capital inputs. Back again, here are the samples of the consumable inputs. The most commonly used consumable inputs are high-quality seeds, soil, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, insect traps, straw, hay, ang hay, dayami, and of course, the most important, water. While the capital inputs are agri-inputs that are often mechanical and more technologically advanced. These agricultural inputs cannot be consumed by the crops themselves, and capital inputs are necessarily thought of as a tool for larger farms, but that is not always true. There are plenty of agri-inputs that can aid both large farms and smallholder farms, such as mulches. Dati yung mulching, nagtitipid ay mga dahon ng nyug, lalagay doon sa babaw ng pag may tanim ng luya, mulch din yun. Pero ngayon, siyempre, mahirap maghanap na ngayon noon. Binibili na nga yan, pati ipangangin, binibili. Yung mga plastic mulching, yun, para mga film, kulay black yan, nakarolyo, at yun yung lalagay doon sa mga bed ng plants, bubutasan lang niya, sakto, doon itatanim ang halaman. And they prevented, unang-una, yung unnecessary growth ng mga weeds. Tapos yung evaporation ng water, napipreventin niya, at doon lang sa butas mo didiligin, sometimes meron pa nga yung drip irrigation. So, na-maximize talaga. And these are, kung maglalagay ka niyan, this belongs to the capital input. So, yan yung sinasabi na magastos din pala ang farming. If you want to go into technologically advanced way of farming. Some other common forms of capital inputs are nylon netting, stakes, staka ang tawag yan, or pulos, tractors, plows, araro, or irrigation system. system, meaning may tubo, may tubig or may kanal, may water pump. Those are included in the irrigation system. The other classification of inputs according to source, yung pinagkuhanan mo. Kanina ay dalawa yun, di ba? Consumable at saka yung capital inputs. Ngayon, pwede mo silang i-categorize as natural and the other one is mobile. Yung natural resources are inputs that are fixed to a natural site such as land and water. We call it natural. While mobile resources include labor, capital, planting material, and knowledge. Mobile. Okay, so dalawa yan. So we talk now about the natural resource limitations. Libre nga yan eh. Libre tubig, libre lupa, hangin, libre rin. Sun, libre rin yan. Pero meron siyang limitations. Sabihin, hindi siya forever. Nauubos, kumbaga. So here are some of the points na you need to consider kapag ang pinag-uusapan ay natural resources. Number one, we can always source more or additional mobile resources but not fixed resources. Sabi, pwede kang maghanap hanggang may pambili ka ng mga mobile resources. Pumili ka ng maraming traktora, pwede. Pero yung mga fixed resources tulad ng tubig, minsan yan ay hindi mo madaling hanapin. Gustuin mo man, kung malayo ka talaga sa ilog or sa kanal, mahihirapan ka. Natural resources are, by definition, limited. Uubos din. Lupa, benta ng lupa, wala na, ginawang subdivision, ubos na yan. More land or more water cannot be produced, and available natural resources must therefore be treated with respect if the farming operation is to be successful. So, ngayon pa lang, isipin nyo na ito nga ay hindi forever, sila ay nauubos. So, kinakailangan paplanuhin na ngayon pa lang, even as you are nag-aaral pa lang, that these resources should be well kept. No? The availability of these resources to meet the long-term needs of the enterprise is of critical importance. Yung mga before, si Sir Noel Sedigo ng KPNR, yung grupo nila nag-conduct ng study ng water availability sa Cavite. And as early as 2018, base sa kanilang pag-aaral, ay meron ng water crisis sa Cavite. Okay? At totoo naman yon. Yung water crisis kasi, they defined it as wala ka nang makuhang groundwater. Even if you drill, yung mga pump, yung mga poso, kaya wala ka nang makukuhang tubig. If you are on the lowland area, let's say, Bacoor, Imus, ayan, wala na. Kaya nga, dyan nagsusupply na yung Maynilad. May mga tubo na dyan punta sa bahay kasi wala ka nang makukuhang groundwater. Fortunately, dito sa atin sa Upland, sa Cavite, sa Indang, Amadeo silang, meron pa tayong groundwater. Now, so yun yung ating mga input sector kung saan napag-usapan natin na kinakailangan ingatan yan. Kinakailangan tipirin, kinakailangan huwag ubusin. You look in the future. The other, doon sa tatlong corner na yun, pinag-uusapan natin, meron doon yung agricultural production sector. The other one is the input sector. Now, it's time that we consider now yung mismong production. Agricultural production is the use of cultivated plants or animals to produce products for sustaining or enhancing human life. People use a vast array of agricultural products every day. This range from the clothes we wear to the paper we write on. We decorate with flowers often produced by agriculture and run our cars in part or ethanol produced by agriculture. Okay? So agricultural crops turned into products fall into one or four groups such as food, fuel, fibers, or raw materials. Roughly 11% of the planet's land is dedicated to crop production, and close to 26% is being used for animal pastures. Yon. Ito, buong mundo, 11% ng lupa ng, ng planet natin ay dedicated to 11 to food production o crop production, but 26% mas malaki pala ang dinededicate sa animal pasture or yung grazing area, kainan ng mga animals natin, specifically cattle and yung mga sheep. While food, some examples of food products are grains and cereals. Some of the crops are turned into feed and fed to animals, which then produce dairy products like milk, or are turned into food for humans or other animals. Honey and farmed fish are also examples of food products. Then another um, is fuel. Agricultural products can also be used to produce fuel, such as ethanol produced from corn, sugarcane, or sorghum, is the agricultural fuel products in widest use. Agricultural production byproducts can be used in industrial applications such as textiles or used to reinforce plastic. So ito yon, yung fiber. Fiber crops. Fiber crops include cotton, or one of the top 10 crops produced in the US every year. Wool, yan, pakita ko sa inyo, and silk. By the way, yung silk came from a cocoon, galing sa uod. Yung ni-spin na parang sutla ng uod to cover himself as a cocoon, yun ang tawag doon silk. No? There was a time in Tabso na merong uh, ginawang project yan, yung mga uod ay pinakakain ng dahon ng mulberry until they spin themselves and cover themselves with covering na puti. At it turned out na siya pala ay silk, no? The most expensive material sa paggagawa ng mga fiber o ng mga linen o ng mga textiles. Agricultural producers also use hemp. Yung hemp ay yan yung abaca to make rope and flax for linen. It's even possible to use bamboo fiber to make cloth. Wala, mayroong na-extract na fiber sa bamboo. Alam ko, sa pinya, yung dahon ng pinya, merong pinya cloth, pero meron ding bamboo cloth. Raw materials are the products not refined or processed for use in one of the other categories. Many of the crops grown are used to feed animals that become other agricultural products. So, may mga right. So, let's end this topic.